putting about 4 of them on him, so he didn't have about 3 catches, but you could tell that he was going to be good. He'd run if he had a quarterback, but they didn't have it. But they still beat us 30-0. They get about 25 scholarship players in here, and they get them everybody on the D line and D1.
Okay.
Hard to beat.
Well, that's a board attorney.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can't believe it stopped raining long enough.
They got 166, 285 on the defensive end.
Where they flying them at?
Everywhere. They've been doing that since I was in school. But that's why they got about 12 state championships.
Harry Jones. Oh, yeah.
That's true. I'm glad to see that. There he is. How you at?
Okay, have our supervisors here that's gonna be present. Supervisor Miller is not gonna be with us this evening. She asked to give her a call if anything come up that is need for her to respond to. With that in mind, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you to all our visitors who are present with us today. Thank you for coming in and be a part of county government. Welcome. You are welcome. With that in mind, we'll open the meeting. Supervisor Montgomery, will you please offer prayer?
Certainly will. If you will bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, thank you, dear Lord, for just giving us this day and this opportunity to do Oktibbeha County's business. Dear Heavenly Father, be with each and every one of these members that are here tonight as they make decisions for the betterment of Oktibbeha County, and be with the members who are not here tonight as well. Dear Lord, be with our military, dear Lord, that are here and also fight abroad. Dear Lord, be with our local leaders here tonight, be with our state leaders throughout the state, and be with our national leaders as well, dear Lord. Thank you for all the many blessings that Oktibbeha County provides. Thank you for what the state of Mississippi does provide, and of course the freedoms that this country does provide. Thank you for all the many blessings now and the ones to come. It's in your Son Jesus' name we do pray. Everyone say amen.
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 Thank you, Supervisor Montgomery.
Yes, sir.
With that, we move forward with citizen comment period. If we have any citizens who would like to come forward and make a comment, please come forward now. Seeing that we have any, Jarvis here.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
My name is Jarvis Boyd. I am here today. I am expressing my interest in the Board of Trustees position for the Oktibbeha County Hospital Regional Medical Center. I made contact with my county administrator to show interest, and this was the best way for me to do it. So I'm here today to show interest in that position, or even if you can provide me any information on how to apply for it. Thank you.
Okay. Jarvis, thank you. We need a motion to acknowledge Jarvis' interest in the Board of Trustees of Oktibbeha County Hospital. No motion needed. Okay. Moving forward. Mr. Jeff Foster, credit request.
Sir. Thank you, Board, for letting me come to y'all today. I bought some property that adjoins the Valley Hills, and it's on Timber Creek Road. And Mr. Baggett has looked at the property, and Mr. Orlando and I have talked about it. There's 2 ditches there. The road ditch along the county road It's not a very big ditch. The next ditch over carries a substantial amount of water that neighborhood. I need to get that culverted in order to get to my property.
Supervisor Train, I believe that's in your district.
Right, I'd like to make a motion that we install a culvert for Mr. Jeff Foster at his property on Timber Creek Road, Timber Creek Drive.
I'll
Motion
second
by
that.
Supervisor Train, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Do we have any questions? If no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. I believe.
Can I ask you more questions? How long will the small culvert be? Because I've got to get log trucks out. If you'll tell me what size it is, if it's not long enough, I can buy some more and add to it. I just need to know what's gonna be installed there.
Okay, you can check with Mr. Baggett, however y'all wanna work it out.
Okay.
He'll get you fixed up.
You know, we just leave one end open, not covered, and that way I can just put an addition on it and go from there.
Sounds good.
Thanks, board.
Man, we
If y'all ever
appreciate
need me, call me.
Yes,
All
sir,
right,
thanks,
you,
sir.
Mr. Foster. Moving forward, we have with us Mr. Andrew Smith with talk about American Rescue Plan.
Yes.
Ag funding is what the local government solution. Mr.
Yes.
Smith, will you come forward?
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Good evening, members of the board,
Good evening.
public. I have a really brief presentation. Oh, it's not, okay, all right, I get it. All right. Okay, local government solutions and strategies was created in 2001. I've been in business, I'm Andrew Smith, and I've been in business for 20 years, celebrated 20 years in business in July of this year. We're very proud to stand above and beyond other public consulting entities to provide technical assistance and professional services to local units of governments across a multi-state region. I am here today to speak with you all specifically about some of the services that we provide. And we know that government projects are complex, and we don't like to leave clients or potential clients alone to navigate those processes. We're very familiar with federal, state project funding, how those, how counties and communities are to remain in compliance, and the processes related to implementation. This is a list of the services that the company provides in all of the states that we service. The ones that are encircled in red are specifically what I'm going to discuss today: project funding, and grants management, and then some of the leadership programs and trainings that we provide to staff. As I said, we've been in business in excess of 20 years, close to 25 years. From our knowledge and experience has evolved a comprehensive line of management services to successfully guide local units of governments and other development companies, development entities through planning, design, construction of capital projects. That's an aspect of project management that we provide. We also support clients by providing the capability and time necessary to manage local government projects. Our staff, we actually, once we sign on with the community, we become an extension of your staff and play the role of a trusted advisor. We provide you with the guidance and expertise necessary to implement projects efficiently and effectively. And this is done by applying effective skills, identifying and securing accurate documentation, and also having our staff available at your demand. Project management services, we help you to leverage local resources, and I'll touch on that with the American Rescue Act plan. We have experienced personnel. We help you to maximize your funding. We're knowledgeable of requirements, and the list on the right is just some of the things that we actually cover. Water, wastewater, stormwater, community development. Staff is very experienced in those areas that you see now. We also have vast experience in securing grants and some low-interest loans for a variety of public projects and also public-private projects. Programs management, we provide, as I said earlier, the comprehensive grants management support that's necessary. The American Rescue Act. In the early part of this year, the United States government enacted the American Rescue Plan Act. What we do, or what we are prepared to do to provide assistance to your county, is your application assistance, the development of the various program modules, if you so decide to choose some of those modules that are eligible fund expenses. We also help you with your planning. We actually conduct public engagement meetings, letting your community know exactly what you all plan to do with the funding that has been entrusted to you. Compliance and reporting. We provide internal monitoring, and also we provide we provide you with everything you need to remain in compliance with your reporting. And a lot of counties, large counties and small counties, they simply, your staff is probably like most other counties where they are deeply engulfed and involved in existing work. And we step in and provide, we actually relieve them of those responsibilities. Of course, we're working in close concert with your existing staff, but they will not have to worry about, okay, is it time to file this report? Should this report include this, or whatever the components and aspects of the quarterly and annual reporting requirements. Local Government Solutions and Strategies has been doing that type of work for 20 plus years. Process and procedures. We help you to develop the internal processes and procedures that are outlined in the federal legislation. We prepare all of your agreements and contracts for sub-recipients. If you also decide, well, we're going to give some money to our Economic Development Authority to do some smaller grants or some smaller projects throughout the county, we develop those applications, make sure that they are developed in a way that the reporting that those sub-recipients are required to give, that they're in compliance with your overall contract, or with your overall responsibilities for the funding you've received. And we ensure that all aspects of procurement, environmental, let's say if you all decide to do a water project or a sewer project, if you decide to involve some of your water associations, we take care of all of the procurement, receiving bids, helping you to administer the bid opening and all of that good stuff. Environmental, we document the environmental, we do the labor law requirements, everything that's going to be required for you and your responsibility as a recipient of the ARPA funds.
Question, what about signatures, be it if you did sewage, for example, and you needed 80% of the signatures in an area, which is exactly what I've had a hard time getting. Could you assist in that?
That particular type of project, those signatures are normally required to establish a low to moderate income area.
Right, yes, sir.
That is not required for the ARPA funds.
Okay.
If you decide you want to do a sewer project in whatever that area is,
That wouldn't hinder.
no, sir. That does not apply to the ARPA program. It's not based upon household incomes and low to moderate income eligibility requirements.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. And we also assist you all, if you all decide that we want to calculate some of our lost revenues, we have partnered with a tax law firm to make sure that every piece of documentation that's required to calculate your loss of revenue over the last 2 years of the period of eligibility, that's done the right way. So we've secured that partnership with a regional tax firm to work with us on that. Training programs, I have a handout that I'm going to share. I don't want to take up all your time, but we do offer some training modules for cities and counties, and they are done as needed. We just simply ask that you would sign up for those if you see something that's a part of our curriculum and some of the training modules that we provide. And we have worked out, if supervisors attend our programs, then you will receive credits through the Mississippi Association of Supervisors for our certified training programs. And this, we have the Local Government Leadership Academy. It's customizable based upon any of these trainings. These are all of the trainings that we currently provide over the 3-state region and the 4-state region that we serve. And that's included in this little handout that I have for you. Again, we're local government solutions and strategies. We are not government consultants. We are government experts. We've been at this long enough to develop expertise in local government. I've lived in Mississippi, give or take, right about 48 years. So I know Mississippi government. I know the requirements of the processes and procedures that are necessary to provide you with the tangible assistance related to the American Rescue Act plan. And if you need assistance with that, I would certainly like to have a deeper conversation with you about that and the processes that you would need to engage in order to begin the process to secure our services. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those and get out of your way.
Good. Let's take a look.
Well, we thank you for the presentation. We certainly need some assistance in that area. I don't know how do we go about receiving those assistance, but I'm sure we will need some kind of control.
I will provide your county administrator with the required processes that you must, anything related to American Rescue Act, you're gonna have to follow your regular state professional services procurement processes. Even if you have, I know you have an existing county engineer, but if that county engineer is gonna work on American Rescue Act plan, you still have to procure those services just like you would do with any other federal project. So it has to follow those procurement processes, and I will certainly share that with you.
Will you provide a billing process later when you get a chance to? How do you plan on billing the county for those kind of services?
Thank you for mentioning that, sir. The American Rescue Act plan allows for counties to expend a minimum of 3% and a maximum of 10% on administrative fees. If I am given an opportunity to work for your county, my fee will be 2%. Yes, my fee will be 2%. And that 2%, I have worked with communities long enough to know that at some point you ought to act like you got some good sense. And that's just, I'm talking to myself now. I don't know of a county in Mississippi that could not benefit from the use of 100% of its Rescue Act plan funding. Relationships are important, and I've had relationships from as far north as the town of Walnut and as far south as Wilkinson County. Those relationships really have led me to make a commitment to those communities. They need the money to do things in their communities that really traditionally, historically, they've never been able to do, simply because of lack of resources. Timpaha County could just have a bottomless purse. I don't think so. I've been in government too long to say that. But there are some things that I do believe that you all have wanted to do over the years. And this is an opportunity for you to make an investment in your community. Our fee in every community is 2%. Yes, sir.
That's with the American Rescue Plan Act. Have you thought much about whether or not that will also be applied to, or you will also offer service with other federal funding that will be coming down?
Yes, sir. I have given consideration to that as well. And the only programs that would be different in terms of that funding to help you administer these would be the EDA programs that have a NOFA deadline. Those, you have what's called the Build Back Better plan. You have the Good Jobs program, and you have the travel, tourism, and outdoor recreation. Those program applications are pretty much being prepared now. We're currently working on some of those. The traditional fee for that, I think, is 8%. I would say 6% of that, of the overall budget, because we can only go up to 11% on those programs. So it would be, that's just for the individual grant programs, it would be 6%. But for the American Rescue Act compliance, it's 2%. And that will also, it will also allow us to kind of cultivate and develop a relationship with this board to identify what some of your needs are and identify other grant programs and other federal resources that are out there. One thing that I'm finding as I'm going around the states talking about the services that we provide, a lot of the cities and counties do not know of the individual programs that are out there, let's say with EDA, with USDA, with Department of Commerce. When the American Rescue Plan Act was passed, they also gave an enormous amount of resources, money to individual agencies. And those agencies have been tasked with creating programs, new programs, or expanding existing programs. The Economic Development Administration, they pretty much capitalize on 2 existing programs. The Good Jobs Program, which I think would be a great opportunity for Oktibbeha County to partner with East Mississippi Community College and Mississippi State, because that program specifically pays for the creation of training modules for industries in your existing areas to expand their workforce training. Look at offering new programs and things of that nature, but that particular money pays for the development of the training modules for the industries in your area, and that's available right now.
Board, we have a motion to acknowledge.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery to acknowledge the presentation from Mr. Andrew Smith, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any additional questions for Mr. Andrews before we leave? Any questions? If no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Acknowledge Mr. Smith's presentation. Moving forward, we are honored and pleasure to have Mr. David Kenneth with us today with Tom Bigby Waterway Management District. Mr. Kenneth, we're always glad to see you. We certainly need your help.
Good to see you.
I believe we're trying to grow, so we need your help. You know, I hadn't had an opportunity to come back to the board since y'all actually appointed me to the back to where I left. Just wanted to just stop by and give you an idea of what's going on. Things are going well. I know that we've looked at several projects. I know we've had Richard Herring down here to meet and to look at several projects. What I did is I prepared, there's 10 of them. I'll just let y'all pass them down both sides, whatever's left over, y'all can have. These are the sheets that Richard will prepare that comes to our board, that comes back to the board. So each one of the projects, there's 4 projects total that Oktibbeha County has right now on the books. Richard has come in, he's done his due diligence, he's looked at the projects, he's prepared these sheets, he's given them to our board. Our board has approved all 4 of these projects. What should have happened is y'all should have gotten some correspondence back from Tom Bigby, which I'm sure you did, letting you know what the next step was. The next step involves getting the easements, right of entry done. The county attorney has to go in and certify all of that and do those type things. So that's where we are right now. The Tom Bigby has done everything that they can possibly do on these projects, and we're waiting on easements. Easements can be difficult because sometimes the states are set up to where there's
there's 5 heirs sitting out there spread out across the United States. Don't let that stop you. If there's one of those situations that we have, we can look at bypassing that area. We can skip around them, just don't do any work on their areas. If we can get to the other side, we can continue that work. If you look down at the bottom, there's an estimated cost of the project. That's all labor and equipment that he's estimating. So if I remember right in my calculations, I can't remember off the top of my head, it was somewhere around, if I remember right, about $75,000 worth of labor and equipment sitting out there. So I just mainly wanted to come by and just let y'all know that things are going well, that I appreciate y'all letting me represent Octavia County back to this board, and let you know the process, let you know where we are. If we can get those easements, and some of the counties do it different ways. Some of the counties, the board attorney, a couple of the counties, the board attorney handles all the easements, has somebody get them. The majority of the counties, the supervisor, because he knows the people in his district, just goes out, gets them to sign the easement, and the packet is there. Y'all should have received a packet in the mail with all that information in it. It probably went to Emily's office, and it's not Emily anymore.
Mr. Lois over there.
And she, but anyway, she's probably she should have gotten those packets and just pass them on to whichever supervisor it is, or however y'all want to do that. But they're ready. They're ready to go to work down here. I'm pushing them hard to try to get them down here. If we can get, I know the one right off of Poorhouse Road right there. What is that? Is that Hollis or Skinner? Right there off of Poorhouse at Montgomery. That's Hollis, isn't it?
I think so. It's not in my district.
Not your district. It's Skinner right there. It goes up through the country club.
Right.
I don't think there's but 2 or 3 landowners right there that we could get easements from and go to work. And even if we had to go further south, Bill Cunningham called and said that he was in, that wouldn't be any problem going across his property to the south right there. So
Right.
if we can get 1 or 2 of those, projects that don't have many easement issues done, I mean, we're chomping at the bits to get them down here. I want y'all to see what they can do and what kind of job they can do. So as far as them going to work, that's pretty much all they're waiting on now. And then I can start pushing for them to, and I'll push for them to get on down here and get some projects done as soon as we can get that information back. Just to clear up a few things, I know we've looked at a couple of projects. I wish Ms. Miller was here, because I looked at one of hers the other day. They do rock work. I mean, they do really good rip-rap work and putting down 200-pound, even up to 300-pound rock. The county would have to provide the materials and have it there on site, but they're set up to do that work and do a very good job of it. So some of these erosion issues, some of these embankment issues, if y'all just don't have the time or you don't have the capability to do it and reach out there and do it, they've got the equipment that they can do that. So just wanted to throw that out to you. Also, with all this rain we've had, I think I sent all of y'all a text or an email just reminding you about the EWP program through NRCS. With these big rain events we've been having, any flooding issues on roads that are endangering the road, endangering any public utility or anything like that, EWP can come in and they'll fund 100% of that work. So any of these things that we have, any of these events that we have, you might want to just pick the phone up and call the NRCS office and say, hey, can y'all come look at this, because that puts it on that lets them know that you had an event, because there's a time limit. They've only got so much time to file for that event. So I'd highly encourage y'all to look at those EWP projects. Knoxville County has done, they've got probably 8 of them going down there right now on culvert extensions, replacement of blowouts and things like that on roadway.
I'm gonna make sure I've got your number, Mr. Kennard. What's your phone?
601-479-2205. And look,
I'll get up with you. There's a couple in my area that I went and rode with the gentleman, but I'll just I'll call you.
That's fine. Y'all, look, I represent y'all, so y'all got my phone number. Please do not hesitate to give me a call anytime you need. I'll be glad to answer questions, and if you're having trouble getting somebody down here, I think I can help with that.
Well, I want you to know I do have the package material for Shaw Creek.
Good deal.
I have that, and we looked at some easement that need to be gathered
Okay.
there, and we've been told what the problems seem to be in relation to that.
I know they've got, Clay County has done their part on Trim Cane. You know, it was gonna, I think part of that project was over into Clay County. Clay County has gotten their part done. I do know they've gotten their easements back. So the Sun Creek Trim Cane project, I mean, that's the big one in here, it's
Yeah,
$40-something
that's-
thousand.
I'm needing one signature.
Really?
And that's one of those deals where some of the areas up north and, you know, so that's what I'm working through with this one signature.
If
that's
there's
left
one
on there.
section in there and we can get on the other side and go around them and not just disturb that area, we can do,
Okay.
we've done that before.
We might do that.
It looks kind of funny, but we've had to do that before.
Okay. If I don't have it next week, we'll move forward.
Yes, sir. What else? Anybody got any questions?
We certainly appreciate your service.
Oh, I appreciate y'all allowing me to do it. It's a good organization. I'm just anxious for them to get down here so y'all can see what they can do and get them into a rhythm of coming here and getting some work done.
That'll work.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate what you do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I
Thank you.
appreciate the time. Thank y'all.
Is there a motion to acknowledge the presentation coming from?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any questions? All in favor?
Uh,
Motion carries for vote.
Could we
Next
say
on the
his-
agenda, I've been told that, let's see.
Could we say his name out loud so that she can hear his name in motion? Mr. Terry. Mr. Terry Kenner.
David Kent.
David Kenner.
David
I'm
Kenner.
sorry. David Kenner.
David Kenner.
Thank you.
Here. All right.
If it's okay, before we move forward, we'd like to give the road manager, Mr. Baggett, the opportunity to come forward if there's something that you need to discuss with the board.
As far as administrator, we just talked about equipment. I'd just like to pass these around. You should have gotten them already. But, I'd just like to pass those. And then that's the equipment that we are proposing to get should the board decide to require financing. And,
Can we just go ahead and advertise everything?
Well,
And then once it,
the
then,
bid's
you know, that's a
coming, you'll know.
process that we gotta
You'll
go
know,
through.
yeah.
Just go ahead and advertise for it. That would be my suggestion, to advertise everything on the list.
I did speak with Mr. Baggett though about like road graders
Mhm.
and tractors,
Right.
because the feedback I'm getting is they spend a lot of time fueling up.
Mhm.
And we talked about that, maybe seeing if we could spec them out to have bigger fuel tanks on them, instead of just sending in the same, cause,
Yeah.
the guys are saying that they haven't spent a good bit of time
Fueling,
refueling, so.
Do we have tanks on some of our trucks? In other words, just like,
We have tanks on one of the trucks. But we do have pull-behind tanks.
I got you.
And on the advertisement that we're talking about, do we have to advertise for all of it right now, Mr. Trainer? Could we just say on the transports and the front end loads? Could we hold up on those too?
Hold up
right
on
now?
the what?
The 10-wheeler transports
Okay.
and just hold up on them. I don't want take the money out. Just hold up on that for just a minute.
What would be your reasoning for
On those front end loaders, we've looked at the need for front end loaders. I've talked to now let me say this also now. If we don't get the front end loaders, maybe we could look at getting something else. I'm not talking about remove the money from the budget. I'm just saying trying to be as frugal as possible with the money that we might get. And we have front end loaders, we just have not been able to find parts for them. And I went into panic mode earlier this summer, thinking that we wouldn't be able to keep up because we had gotten a little behind because of the bids for the soil cement and all. But if we're not going to be able to do that anyway, if the money will still be there later, I would like to hold up on those two, just to see if I can get one of the ones we have running.
And I guess at some point, I don't know if a couple of supervisors need to sit down with Mr. Baggett and our county administrator and maybe our board attorney and just talk, really nail down this equipment list exactly, because I think the mindset of this board is when haymaking time comes next year, we want to be rolling. And part of the reason I think we're trying to go ahead and get stuff advertised and maybe even ordered is because of the delay
Takes a while.
that's out there right now. We're trying to get equipment in here. So I think it will behoove us to go ahead and nail down this equipment list.
Okay.
I mean, so we won't be wondering whether, let's nail it down, go ahead and get it advertised and spec'd out. I mean, that's just my.
Yeah,
Well,
my suggestion.
and one of my concerns.
We don't have to buy any of it. We could buy all of it or none
Exactly.
of it.
All of it or none of it, but
Right.
we need to.
Well, one of my concerns is we purchased $1.6 million worth of equipment. And we haven't really, I'm gonna be in a really awkward position if I have to come back to the board for additional equipment. And so I'm really into getting exactly what we need and maybe having the money, but postponing what we can do without for a few more months, maybe a season.
Have you prioritized from this list, if we would advertise, what are those items that you consider to be most important?
The tractors,
Tractors,
bush hogs, road graders.
Let me ask a question, and I'm just asking, how are you on your track hoe situation?
They're running fine right now. One of them is running fine, but I did talk earlier this summer about the track hoe, and it would be good to get one. I'll look into getting one. But when you start talking about all this equipment, I can't put down everything that the road department would need, because we're looking at, like I said, 1.6 million right here. This could easily go to 3 million. And so,
we don't really know.
At some point though, you needed to have done your due diligence and approached this board with a list of equipment that we need to go ahead and get advertised. And the only way I see to do that is sit down with a couple of supervisors and Ms. Farman, let's go ahead and at least nail down what you want to get. Instead of saying, well, let me hold up for a couple of months and see, at least bring us something that we can move forward with. Because like I said, the time delay on ordering equipment is one concern. The other concern is we've got money, we've got funding that we're gonna have to be, we're gonna have to be strategic and efficient and effective with this money, but we're gonna have to be ready to go when time to go. And I just think it'll be good to go ahead and sit down and work through this thing. That's my thoughts on it. Is any supervisor be willing to sit down with him?
I'll do it, you can do it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, would that change any, or you think you will still stay with those three as, your top priority?
Well, we
Priority
gotta
list.
have those three.
Those three, gotta have those.
But then we still have, other items on here, but the three I just mentioned, yeah, we need to go on and get those.
So
Get
you
those,
like-
we need to go and advertise and get those on the way.
You'd like for the board to move forward with them with advertising for those three.
Yeah, the tractors, the bush hogs, and the graders.
And then we can sit down later, Supervisor Howard, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, but I guess I'm wondering, what would be your process to try to find out if you can get parts for the other equipment? That will determine whether or not you need to go ahead and order. So I guess I'm trying to push this thing on down the road. What's your next step to determine?
Okay, now we're only talking about parts for, front end loaders.
Right.
Well,
what's-
so we could use to this point, every satellite and the central shop has had a front end loader. The satellites work well with using their backhoes instead of having a full-fledged front end loader. We would only need 2 front end loaders, one for central shop. Both of them would stay at central shop. We would stockpile material near the job site, then mobilize one of the front end loaders to load that material and then get it back to central shop. The 3 satellites don't need front end loaders.
I understand, and that's what I'm talking about, talking through the process. But I think you just made the statement that you need to determine if you can get parts.
Right.
So I'm asking you, what's gonna be your process to determine whether or not you can get parts, so you'll know whether or not you need to order?
We have 2 of the same machines at the shop. Break one down and use the parts for that one, from that one on the other one. I mean, that's what I'm looking at now. The motors and the transmissions are fine. All we're looking at is pumps for the hydraulics to lift the bucket. If we did that,
I guess it goes back to my question. So do you have to make a phone call to see if you can get pumps? Or how will you determine whether or not?
I'll make phone calls to get parts, but when we took the front end loaders to the dealership, it was a point right after we had purchased equipment. So some of the problem was not being able to get, well, maybe I shouldn't finish that statement.
Well, I'd like to make the motion that we go ahead and advertise for all this equipment that's on this list.
Second that.
Advertise for
We
all
can
the
just
equipment.
advertise. We don't have to do
Yeah.
it.
By- Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by
John,
Supervisor Montgomery, that we advertise for all the equipment that's on the list. Are there any questions?
Do you wanna add a, track code, just to see what it'd be?
Yeah,
With the,
And I'm in-
amend the motion with the addition of a tracker.
Track of.
To your specs, whatever you say.
okay.
Hey,
Every-
one.
Let me
Everything,
have that list back.
everything on the list to include one
Reached over
track
and
of.
took it back
I
home.
thought that was mine.
Are there any additional questions or statements?
How are our bulldozers situated? I'm rolling through it all. Do we need a small bulldozer? We got that little D3, don't we?
Yeah, we could use a small one of those. We got the D3.
And we're renting one, you know, but gee,
Well,
We were
yeah,
renting
we
one.
did rent one. We're not renting it right now.
Oh, I
but
know.
we did rent one.
I guess they're trying to get you to see.
I'm just
Mr.
saying a little
Baggett, that
used
you're gonna be
D3.
held accountable.
Bad to the bone.
When
Not too heavy.
everything dry out
You
in the spring, then we
amend it.
gotta be really rolling and rolling.
one
out
track hoe and one dozer.
during that
A little
time.
D3 dozer.
And one small
Just
dozer.
worth looking at. You know, I'm
I
just,
mean, we can, like you said, we can advertise for
we don't
all
have to
of
buy
them.
none.
One
And in the
dozer and a
meantime,
track
You
you
hammer
can
down
be-
your needs.
Right, right.
But a little D3 dozer would be that one, side dress, but we can't now.
D3.
Well, he just said dozer, I mean,
Just a dozer.
yeah, whatever
Right,
size.
whatever size and whatever need.
All right, never
But
mind.
he's saying D3 is probably the more versatile, I guess.
Okay.
And you get a
We got a
little
motion and a
450.
second. Got a motion and a second to advertise everything on the list to add a dozer and a track hoe to that list. Any additional questions or statements? Some additional questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, have we already given him the authorization to do these things at the bottom? Because I know we talked about the storage bin and the furniture and all that stuff. Did we have an order?
I thought we gave him an order to do the
He got
storage
the
bin.
budget, I believe. Depending on how much the other items gonna cost, I believe is what it's gonna amount to.
Have you
Gonna
been,
hold.
you ready to move forward on those?
I am.
I think Mr. Baggett and I need to get together on some of this first.
Okay,
Because
no
this is
problem.
Yeah, I
not
think we
the
need to hold
road
on that.
budget. This is
That's
building
right.
and ground.
Okay, no problem.
So he
I
and
got
I
you.
need to sit and talk about this first.
No
Fair
problem.
enough, yes, ma'am.
One
Yeah.
question, are you all gonna do all this through the reverse auction, advertisement, and if so, remember this time, if they have to participate, we have to say that. If that's the only way you're gonna accept the bid, is through the reverse auction, the advertisement has to say that.
Didn't we say we could do it either, that they could do it either way?
If we're not specific in the way we
We say it.
advertise, then we have to receive it if it's walked in. If our advertisement says, in order to participate, you have to go through the reverse auction, then we can turn down a walk-in. But you all have to decide how you wanna do that.
I'd say go through the advertisement saying that you gotta participate in the reverse auction.
So you only want it through reverse auction,
Smart.
okay?
Fair enough.
Create a problem otherwise.
Okay, I don't think we need a motion to that.
I think if we got, we do need.
Can we
to
amend those?
state next
I'll second
week.
that.
Motion by Supervisor Train, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we advertise only through reverse auction. All that.
Receive bids only through reverse
See the
auction.
bids on
We'll
the
advertise and receive bids then. We gotta advertise first.
And I wouldn't put these numbers out.
Are
These
there
I
any
would
questions?
turn them back.
Oh, no, yeah.
These are just preliminaries.
I think we're gonna be better than we
All in
got.
favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4.
Look at what we need to get. That's all we gotta do.
Have anything else to address the board?
I don't. Is there a problem with stockpiling material near a project that you're gonna be on?
Got a point. Is it okay to talk? As long as you've got a location that you have, that you're required to ride, yeah, you're good.
Okay. All
Matter
right.
of fact, I would encourage you to.
That helps save on the cost.
Yeah,
That's all I.
Any road project like that, I look for someone local in that area to stockpile. And I mean, it's been in 2 or 3 different places because the materials are different sizes and you don't wanna incorporate them, so yeah,
Okay.
saves money. Go for it.
May I speak? We're talking about material, not stockpiling parts or anything for equipment, correct?
Right, no, we're just talking about equipment. No, I'm
Materials.
sorry, material,
Stockpiling
material.
Material, yeah.
Gravel,
Okay.
crush run.
Right.
Nothing, all right, okay.
Usually they let you keep your equipment there too.
I've got a, culvert request at 144, Old Highway 15 in Maven.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Trainer, a covered request. Any questions? No questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4.
Did Mr., on Turner Road, 124,
Request on Old
Mr. Fonder, get up with you about
Old
the
Highway 15 May.
Was that,
What's the address again?
He's
144.
access.
144.
Old Highway.
with that, now, the one got with me on, was it Red Bud or something?
It was Turner Road. Can I do a board order to, and I'll get with you on the addresses by, but they can't get access to the property. He sold some property to his son. Now the existing property he's got, he can't, he don't wanna go through his kid's front yard. I'll get with Mr. Baggett on where it's exactly at, but on, Turner Road, I need a culvert installed to get access to some property
Second.
for Mr. Fonda.
Heard request on Turner Road by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard.
I'll get with you.
Okay?
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. I just have one, observation. When we are bush hogging, it just doing a lot of damage to, ditches. And I don't know whether we're gonna eventually soon have that sidearm, so we won't have to get down in the ditch to tear the ditch up. Are there any progress being made in that area? And will the sidearm take care of some of those type of concerns?
It'll take care of some of it, but not all of it. And I get the same answer each time I ask about the sidearm. A couple of weeks, they're en route to this place or that place, and so.
Yeah.
And so last time I asked the question was last week, and it was 2 weeks after then, so.
I say keep up the good work, Mr. Baggett, thanks for your service.
Be able to stop raining would get more done, but it is what it
Can't
is.
help what the good Lord gives us.
That's right. And I will add that we have a very good workforce in the road department. And with this equipment, you will see a considerable increase in production. We have very good operators, probably 4 or 5 very good operators. And so with the equipment, you will see a considerable increase. And I think if we get the equipment by next summer, our paving equipment, our chip spreader, we spent a lot of money this summer on a chip spreader. And so everything is set to go. And we're ready to go. All right.
Sounds good. Hopefully we can get it ordered and get it in here in time.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I appreciate it.
We'll
Thank
get
you,
a
Mr.
motion
Baggett.
to acknowledge.
All right.
Baggett.
Thank you, Mr.
report.
Baggett.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery to acknowledge Mr. Baggett's report. Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions? No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4. Chancery clerk business moving forward.
I don't
Ms.
have anything.
Livingston.
I don't have anything.
Okay. We don't need to acknowledge no changes. If there's not a motion, let's move forward then. County business administration.
You have in your package payroll changes for approval.
Motion we approve the payroll change.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we approve payroll changes. Are there questions?
Just a note, in these payroll changes, they're not all the same, they're different. There are some stipulations in some of them. So I want those to be noted. I don't have any problem with the stipulations in some of them.
Sound good?
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Sound good.
Well, we've reviewed all of them. We have reviewed them.
But you want to acknowledge in the board order?
Well, it'll be in a minute, it'll be in a minute.
Yes, sir.
So, you know,
Yes, sir.
if you have to go
Those
back and refer to
stipulations are in
it, those
place.
stipulations are in there.
Yes, sir.
So,
Good point.
That's a caveat. We
That's
need
all
to
the-
make
that's
sure
all the payroll
employee is
changes.
aware of those stipulations.
Yeah.
Okay? We just approved all the
Oh,
payroll
expectations,
changes,
Yeah.
moving forward.
I'll take a vote.
Oh, we have no, I'm sorry. We have to, okay. All in favor? Motion carries 4.
Sorry, Mr.
I
President.
know we got a first, I know we got a motion and a second, but we
Right.
didn't carry.
I interrupted you. I apologize.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. We moving.
We have an invoice from Robertson Law Firm in the amount of $2,012.50 for payment.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions? Oh, those are telephone conversations.
Some are telephone, but I think Tiffany I think my paralegal just plugged in telephone conversations.
Right, okay. All right then.
It's probably more than that,
Yeah,
honestly.
right. Okay, well, we sure need you. We give you work to do, so I'm sure you're gonna tell us. Okay, any questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-4.
The sheriff's department is requesting to increase their buy money from 1,000 to 3,000 in board order to do that.
Sheriff Department, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
We have a G17 letter from Raymond James, for the GO 2017 road and bridge bond that we would need to sign, giving them authorization to work with them.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
Volunteer fire department, Gallenberg insurance risk management contract is due for renewal.
Renewal, volunteer, motion by Supervisor Montgomery. Yes, sir. Second by Supervisor Trainer. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
The contract with, Golden Triangle Cooperative Service District will expire September 30th. You have a copy of that contract in your package. If we, choose to renew it, we need to get it signed and we want to do a board order.
Motion we renew it.
Question, and I,
It might be some questions, I don't know, before, after the motion, do you want those questions to go before the motion?
well, I mean, my question, and I do apologize, I did not look at that in and out. Does that limit us on our number of cans? Do you know what the number was on that?
I don't think it's spelled out. It didn't spell out, but there are some questions on there.
It was 600 a year. so
Well, they
I
went to
didn't-
what, 625, I
Did they
think,
up it?
but, well, the reason I say that is because I've got 14 people that need garbage cans right now.
Right.
And, I mean, what do I say to them?
We picked up these sleeves, how many weeks ago, when I called and the road department got involved, we got them to go get it. They didn't contact you,
I asked the Central, do we have
what
any?
was that, about 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago?
you should have got them, you should have
You
got
got some probably at the shop, you probably
You might
have
get in touch with Mr. Baggett.
5 or 6 at the shop.
Okay, 'cause I need some.
The new
Right.
shipment comes in,
October 1st, isn't it?
yeah, October 1st.
But what about parts too? And the reason I say parts because we can all, you know what I mean, if the wheels are busted off,
Yeah.
I can fix that, save a can.
I think there are parts over there.
At Central or at, down there?
And I don't know if they brought some to Central, but I
They
know
got some
some.
lids.
Can we, in the form of a motion, can we get our guys from the Central to go over there and then they can have the board order to be able to get some parts for us to our Central shop?
Yeah.
Would y'all be
Yes,
okay
sir.
with that?
Ain't no problem.
I mean, I
I
could
don't
fix,
think it
if I had
needs a board
14
order, but we can.
cans,
Yeah,
I could fix 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And take 4 or 5, I could
Yeah.
spread it out as best I can.
They already been going to get those parts.
To do
So I
another
think
one.
you ask Mr. Baggett to go pick
We
some up.
can, we'll have to pay for
But
it.
if you want a
Let's do it
motion,
through a-
we'll carry a motion.
Let's do it to a board order.
Do a board order.
To get someone from the Central shop to go down there and get them. And that way, they'll have marching orders too, you know what I mean? And if they need to take a copy of the board order, so be it.
Could we,
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery.
I think you had a question.
could we do the contract first and then do that, because
Sure,
we may not.
I'll table that motion.
I apologize, and I did promise Supervisor Miller that I would state her concerns. One of her concerns was she would prefer not to do a multi-year contract. Her other concern was to bring up that there has been areas that haven't been picked up at times, and there are garbage cans that are being picked up that should be picked up. Those were the 3 things that she asked me to bring to the table I've done that. I'll shut up now.
So it is for 5 years, but y'all wanna
5-year
do it for
contract.
less than 5? Or do you wanna stick with 5?
Was,
It's,
Ain't no heart
it's,
driver either way.
it's set the typical way we've always done it. This contract was, I did speak with their attorney about this.
but you can't, really can't authorize it beyond the term, can we?
You can't authorize it beyond the term, but this contract, I hate to say it like this contract has been done the same way since the beginning.
Enough time?
And this is kind of the way that it's been done. Typically a contract is not, well, in the past, you can't do a contract past your own term. This is one exception to that rule because it is your entity.
That's why I figured it.
So it's a little bit different because it belongs to you. So that's the distinction. But, and I'm, honestly, we've got 2 members on this board that go to handle the things that y'all want to be handled. I don't have any heartburn.
Well, let me ask you this. I guess I was gonna ask your legal opinion on it. Would maybe renewing it for a year, looking at the contract between now and next year, to try to get a more updated contract? I mean, would that be wise, unwise, or?
We could change the date on this particular contract. However, I will say that the other entities that are involved in this are this is kind of the issue you're dealing with.
Interdependent.
Correct, yes, sir. And that interdependency kind of dictates that, we're all in it together or we're not in it together. And if we say that we're only gonna do this for a year, it suggests something to the other entities, I guess is the best way to put it.
I think we're past that, but.
You may be correct.
But,
That being said, I've got a really good relationship with the attorney that works for them. We've been discussing some of the things that have been an issue. I have to be very honest with you. The problems that we have had, he has been very gracious in listening and understanding, but some of these things are just completely out of their control. And after having this discussion with them, I'll tell y'all, I believe that we could go hire a brand new entity and we would, within the next 2-3 years, be right back in the same issue. I mean, I almost can guarantee you that.
well, they're dealing with personnel issues like everybody.
You're exactly right. And
To be
that's what he
fair,
said.
To be fair, but no one's perfect, but it's a lot better cooperation now than it was a couple of years ago.
And he did tell me that, he said, look, some of the things that were problems in the past, they have been
Cleared up.
vastly cleared up from what they were. He said, he said, honestly, if you just bear with us, he said, we're just having the same problems everybody else is having. And he said, however, he said, I will continue to monitor, and if you have some problems, please let us know. And he said, you got board members that bring these problems and they discuss them. I will say to this board, one of the things that we talked about, and this may be something that of course, we don't control this here, but the truth of the matter is, y'all, at some point, there's gonna have to be a discussion as to what the gentlemen that are on the back of these vehicles are making. And I don't suggest that we can do anything.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, I know this is complicated, but it's kind of like schools leaving one conference going to another. I mean, hey, if that's the issue.
Well, now, I know Mary Ann has given them increases, correct, Supervisor
Yeah,
Williams?
that's right, they'll receive that.
She's giving them increases cause she understands the dynamics of
Right.
of those guys back there riding those trucks, middle of the summer, middle of the winter, raining, cold, garbage stinking, and on top of that, having to use a temp agency. You may, they got guys halfway through the route, get on the phone and call, we have somebody come pick them up and just leave. So they dealing with a lot, and like you said, it's no different than any other company right now, be it McDonald's or Burger King or whomever.
Yeah.
dealing with these employee issues.
Well, we'll discuss it later, but
Well, the flip of that is we do it for a longer period of time, we do hold them to that number.
the number on
Tipping the 872 per resident. See what I'm saying?
I think that's staying, right? That-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it would
That
stamp
would
it.
change.
so I mean, you know, if we, you know, I guess it comes down, you get what you, if you want
I
more
think it all
service.
was at the top, like, and the problems were at the top.
Yeah,
Well, the top has
yeah,
turned.
yeah, it has.
And I think, you know, I know we've ruffled some feathers and whatnot, and I'm sure we will, but we're gonna speak honest and get our end out of it. They're gonna do the same.
And I do, I have to remind us of this. We just bought several $1 million worth of equipment, which we are part owners.
Okay.
You know, so,
Right.
so if we walk away from this thing, we walking away from several $1 million.
Don't take long for a garbage truck to tear up and
Yeah.
have a new one.
Yeah,
done.
so,
But all the people want is a garbage picked up.
that's it, that's it.
To me, that's simple but complex, complex but simple.
It's a very simple but
I think
complex
that's,
term.
that's probably the most, best way you put it.
If I mean, you know, it's just like squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you know where it's squeaking at, that's the one you gonna grease all of them. You're gonna grease that squeaky one first.
First, dang right. You better put your oil can down for a minute too.
It's too funny.
It has been a question in the past about whether the consumers will pay for extra trash can, but that's been resolved in this new
Yeah. I don't
contract
think
that
that ever
the
needs to be.
Golden Triangle
No, I don't
Waste
think we can
Management
change
will
it.
pay for the
Not here.
second, in additional trash cans that they are torn up. And that's in the contract this time, it wasn't in the contract the last time.
And that was done for us. I want to be real clear that was one of the distinctions, that he was very clear that he's trying to accommodate some of the things that we needed.
That's right.
So I think there's an honest attempt to
Ease off.
really to appease, or to settle some of these problems that we're having. I think all in all, I think over the next few years we'll be satisfied with what we're getting. That being said, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have some problems. I think that right now we're just living in an age that we're going to see some of these kinds of issues pop up.
Well, there's been some things, I think, Mary Ann and Jennifer, on a monthly basis, talk back and forth to each other to make sure we're staying accurate with our house count and things like that. So
That's
that's
been good, too, you know.
Yeah, that's some progress that's been made.
With that in mind, and Mr. Lois will probably be the best one to clear this up for, Jennifer send a account to Mary Ann every month
It's live.
about how many she billed.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary Ann should bill us according to what Miss Jennifer sent her
Correct.
every month. So that bill should go up and down every month. It shouldn't stay the same every, it shouldn't stay the same every month.
It does not.
It goes up and down.
It does.
Good, good. Well, that's good communication there, then. We're only paying for what we,
Over 400
for the customers that we have. That's it.
And one more thing, I've called out there several times in the last week or two, and I have to tell you, I've got nothing but polite service and answering the questions that I want. I can't say that for previous times, but recently it's been a very cooperative group of people that I've worked with.
Well, Mary Ann has extended the offer to pick the phone up and call her anytime, you know, that you got a problem, don't hesitate to call us, Phil.
And matter of fact, I've just thought about this. Mary Ann did say, any time that this board has an issue, she welcomes the conversation, and she said she'd prefer it come directly to her. So I will let this board know that. She has said that.
Well, in most cases, my issue, when they do come up, you just solve with a simple text message.
Yep.
Call.
I don't have any.
Yeah, what
Call.
Benny is
Just
advising.
send a
Benny,
simple
you
text
go
message.
grab one at 7:45 on a Saturday
I
night.
mean, you can't act with no letter.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett worked last Saturday to clear up some concerns that
Man, it's a vacation.
sure did. So we're gonna approve the contract with no changes, or we're gonna recommend some changes?
I think we
We probably
approve it.
wouldn't.
I say approve it the way it is.
as is.
Motion.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we approve the, waste management contract as it is. Do we have any questions? No additional questions? All in favor?
Yeah.
I don't know if Supervisor Miller gonna be, I might need to call about that one,
I've got her not voting.
Yeah.
but not voting, okay.
Got her what?
She's not
She's
voting.
not here. Yeah, she's not present.
What about the motion that I carried on,
Okay, what was
talking
that?
about the
Oh,
parts?
yeah, okay.
From, get someone from Central to go to the Golden Triangle Solid Waste, get us some cans when they're available and some parts as well for the cans. Tops, wheels, axles, pins for the,
Yeah,
for
for the
the tops.
leaves, yeah.
Where I got like,
Yeah.
I'm having to search in my floorboard.
We say parts and can.
Just all parts.
All the parts
All parts.
necessary, you know.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery,
Second.
second by Supervisor Trainer, that we have someone from Central to go to Golden Triangle Waste Management to pick up parts, repair parts, for the can. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. 4-0.
Supervisor Montgomery, I'll call Mary Ann tomorrow just to verify that you have a card, and then
Okay.
I'll get in contact with Mr. Davis to get that.
To go get them.
And I'll let you know how to go.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Next, we have a proclamation for Sandy George. She works at the Long Fire Department. Patrick, was wanting to do this presentation one evening, but, they've already moved to Florida. We did one for her husband a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
And so
Bill, George, they just
he's
left
not
town. They said,
We are signing that proclamation now. I think it's going around the table.
I signed it.
I think everybody signed it.
Supervisor.
So we need a motion for approval, proclamation
So
for
moved.
Sandy George. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there questions? No questions, all in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
anytime.
We need a board order giving our sheriff department authorization to sell the 2013 and 2016 Dodge Charger.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there questions? No questions, all in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, I've also been in communication with the sheriff department. They're wanting, to their discretion, if the board is okay with it, permission to donate only the 2013 Dodge Chargers. How many y'all have? 7. There's 7 of them. He has been in contact, well, who want to tell me about the other counties y'all been talking to?
Sunflower Police Department from over in the Delta came over. They were gonna buy 3. Sheriff priced them at $4,000 a piece. They went to their board, they approved it of the $12,000 purchase. The next morning, they called the sheriff back, was like, no. They looked back at their budget, so they were gonna come up with $8,000. So, we talked to Mr. Lewis, and she had to call the auditors. They wanted to, they're so broke, they wanted to write us a post-dated check for October the 1st, and the auditor said we couldn't do it. So that was one count, they just don't have anything, and then Brooksville Police Department contacted the sheriff about us donate them 2 cars, and the sheriff told them that the board would have to donate anything we could sell, but they would have to donate. And she just was gonna bring that to you to see if y'all approved to donate to the Brooksville Police Department.
And it's to the sheriff's discretion.
I'll make a motion that we do
But
that.
it's only for the 2013.
Well, whatever, however y'all wanna do it, I'll make a motion that we do that.
Is that for Sunflower County or that's for Brooksville?
Both.
Both, Brooksville and Sunflower County. Motion to donate to Brooksville and Sunflower
Well, we don't
County.
have, they prefer to just have a blanket to donate, because there are some other counties that they may be dealing with, so we'd have to come back and do it again.
So
Attorney
just the
Robinson,
2013.
Just the 2013 Dodge
2013.
Chargers.
I
just
second.
Did we
Dodge.
specify what county, Attorney Robinson, or we can have that.
So long as
We
you're
want
gonna
to say
keep
any
it.
county in Mississippi.
Okay, that's what I
Any
needed.
county in Mississippi.
Sell all the six.
And sell all the 16.
And most of your 13 got what kind of mileage on?
140 to 160.
Yeah.
Donate to any county in Mississippi to 2013. Who?
But this is helping emergency personnel.
Motion.
I'll make
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by
I did.
Supervisor Howard.
And I'm sure
Are
they
there
already take care
any
of
additional
things.
questions?
Yeah.
Question, we're gonna get a, I mean, I guess you give to another entity, we won't get a.
Maven and Sturgis, are they good?
Yes, that's you,
I know you know who Knuckles is.
Huh?
I know you know who Knuckles is. So I told Knuckles to have the mayor to get up with you if they needed anything.
Hey, let me,
I
I
hadn't
don't
heard
know
from
if he
them.
did or not.
But they would fall in it. They would fall in line with that too. wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah.
hey, let me ask you this though, before we just give those to someone, what about our local Sturgis, Maven? Do we not give them one of those apiece?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Don't get me fired over this. I'm
Give
gonna be
them
mad.
one of
But
them. Give them one of them.
if you're gonna give a vehicle to Maven and Sturgis, I think you need to look at the 16s. The
Yeah, give it the
13s
16.
may have 140,000 miles, but they're hard 140,000 miles. I mean, I've drove both of them, so.
So the maintenance on them's gonna
Yeah,
be.
yeah. So if you're going to take care of your local people, I'd probably go with the
Take care of
0.
Maven.
I tell you what,
16.
if we will give Maven one and Sturgis of the 16, I'll go for the.
They approve.
They just need.
Would that be?
They just need one car. They got how many patrolmen they got down there?
Vehicle from the sheriff department.
Sturgis only
How
has
you are?
Doug. He's the only person that works with Sturgis.
Okay, I thought they had more.
He's got an old.
Yeah, I thought they
Yeah,
had.
big.
I thought they had at least 3 at each time.
No, we just need one of each.
I'm talking to Mayor Pruitt, and he said he has a couple that he's having to work on, so,
Yeah.
Talking about in Maven,
yeah.
how many would they need?
How many would you need?
I mean, if we're gonna help our local, if we're gonna do something, let's give our local folks something.
He's
But you want to talk about 2016,
Yes, sir,
right?
yes, sir,
Okay.
yeah.
Can we
We
carry
just
this
checking
motion
in.
on the 13, then come back with the
All right.
2016 pertaining to Maven
Sure.
and Sturgis? Okay, we do have a motion on the table, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second, I think the second was Supervisor Howard, that we donate the 2013 to any, it has to be sheriff's department.
Well,
Any agency,
Law enforcement.
any
Law
agency in
Mississippi.
a law enforcement agency in Mississippi.
And that's to the sheriff's department's discretion.
So, do we specify a year model or just say donate?
They get
2013.
No.
13 is this. Now, if you're gonna do
2013.
Maven, we need to do.
That's what I'm saying, okay, so we need to do separate.
They're gonna do 6, we're gonna give them a better car.
Okay, good deal. All
So
right.
do you want to stay within a law enforcement agency in
It
Mississippi?
has to be, or either we have to take everything completely off the car. So
Okay.
we're only doing it for law enforcement.
Law enforcement, okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Now we have a motion, I
Motion to
believe,
give,
for 2016.
Yeah, maybe one to Maven.
One to
or
Sturgis and 2 to
Maven.
Maven, I think.
2 to Maven, 1 to Sturgis?
Yeah, motion to donate.
One to Sturgis, 2 to
2016.
Maven.
Okay.
2 to Maven.
Okay,
This is the 2016.
2016. Motion to donate 2016.
And let them get the pick of whatever the sheriff's department says. Okay, I'll give Doug a good.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Montgomery that we donate 1 2016 to Sturgis and 2 2016 to Maven. Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any additional questions? And that's to read just like the other, to any law enforcement agency, no, just the, I'm sorry,
This is
I'm
our
sorry, you're
local.
right. Just those two, Maven and Sturgis. Do we, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
That's it, that's
Me
all,
too.
I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Go out there to Bradley.
We are down to board attorney.
Gentlemen, and y'all can do this however you want to. I've got 2 issues that happened to deal with property matters, that we would need to go into closed session to determine whether or not we need to go into executive session.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that go into closed session. All in favor? Motion carries forward.
I just wanna say thank y'all for y'all's support for AIDS. Y'all don't know what that means, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't wanna go work for her. Same motion for executive session.
Okay, motion for executive session.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we go into executive session. Are there questions? All in favor?
I know y'all are tired and I will go fast. The first issue. Well, we have to come back in.